Years ago, and it's been a life changer for me to, bring to fruition not only my dreams, but the empowerment, the strength from myself as an individual, but also the community of people that I've met since finding this amazing way of life, and just the levels of learning continue to grow and grow. So I'm a mother of three, two very young kids. I'm an entrepreneur, and what makes sense to me is efficiency. And what I have found here with Purium and this wonderful group of people is not only vitality and, energy, but it's also I have found a way to save time with my self-care. And so what we're here to talk about today is our ultimate lifestyle transformation. It's a protocol or a program. Really, for me, it's self-care made easy. So it frees me up not only like physically for more, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so what it's done is just streamlined not only my nutrition, but the nutrition of my family, friends, and so out. So I'm insanely passionate because I am always looking to reach new higher levels in my own life, but also to do that in community with people. So that's what we're here to talk about today. So that's a little bit about me. I'm based right now in Chicago. And the woman who led me to this wonderful group of people, she's on here, Camille. It's life changing. You never know what key is going to unlock. Sometimes the biggest doors or open a window. Okay. Thanks for the time to intro, Tevya. Back to you.
Absolutely. So for me, I've been with Purium a little over 10 years. And one thing that really has attracted me to this is just uh, India Ree says it that truth is so simple. It doesn't need a big explanation. It just is what it is. And to me, from the first moment that I discovered Purium, it was that for me. It was just truth. It was what it said it was, and has been a blessing ever since. One thing that I really have enjoyed learning and discovering about Purium is there is instant gratification. Things like improved energy, weight loss, inflammation, hair growth. You hear all these things. We can't promise which result you're going to experience. Maybe all of them, maybe none of them at first, maybe some of them. Either way, there is an initial instant gratification that we experience. But having been part of this company for over 10 years and putting these amazing superfoods into my system and my body and into thousands of people's bodies, there is also a long-term compounding effect that I appreciate and value now that I wasn't aware of or didn't even really think about years ago. So helping in the gracefulness of the aging process, reversing an aging, and really activating and enlivening the cellular system, the brain, the digestive tracts, and boy, has that paid dividends as I continue my life journey. So that's a little bit about me. And what I would really like to do is step into just the offering, the sharing of what some of these products are, and then we can get into some of these incredible stories that are here. So it really begins with the protein, right? So we say protein, veggies, fruit, gut health, and we continue. But we have a pre-digested vegan amino acid that is 99.9% net nitrogen utilization, meaning your body is using 99.9% of this protein. It's a vegan protein, and because it's pre-digested,
Can I
the,
help you?
the beautiful part is that there is uh, no impact on the digestive tract, the kidneys and the liver, which protein usually has a big impact on our digestive tract, on our liver and our kidneys, and um, can be impactful. So these build lean muscle. They increase serotonin levels. They help in, depending on how you use them, that they help you to lose weight. They also can help you to gain lean muscle. So it gives you energy. It's a pure protein source with minimal, really zero impact on the body. Alison, I'll let you give some of your favorites. That's really the key point there. So much to say about this product.
Totally. So what I like about, so this is your proteins would come in a little bottle like this. And when we say protein, we're talking about extremely efficient, effective aminos. So why I like this is because they are fast. Once again, I need reality. The reality is most of us are very busy in the modern day world, keeping up with commitments and everything. So I can get my protein in easily, fast, and then I'm filled up with energy. So I like the little burst of energy that it gives me, but it's also realistic that my body doesn't have to spend a lot of extra energy after I take it in to break it down and then digest it, because they're absorbed versus other proteins that are digested. So for me, it's always about optimal energy, good energy, because I need it to do all the things that I want to do in my day.
Absolutely. I mean, I love to do this like the minute right before my feet hit the floor, I do something good for myself and I get those aminos right in my body because they put you into an anabolic state like right away. And then within 35 minutes, they activate in the body. And so I like to do them before a morning workout and just to get the body going with the first glass of water. So and then you can do them throughout, before workouts or hikes or doing these kinds of things. You can even do them before sleep. But in the meantime, incredible product. Really, like the company could just be that product, but there's so much more. And yet there's more. So next is really our greens, and one of our staple products is called the Power Shake. Some call it Liquid Sunshine. It's officially the Power Shake, and the Power Shake is really easy to go. It's a cold dehydrated shake. So although it's dehydrated, it's actually li living. It's living. So when you put liquid with it, it activates the living nutrients in it, and you can actually see it. So if you drink it within the first 20 minutes of making it, you're going to get the highest level of nutrition and quality out of it. And it's just awakens and alivens your cellular system. It's my body craves it at this point. It knows when it hasn't had it for a day. It just as I do it, day to day, it knows the exact time of day. I don't even have to like set an alarm. It just is like, oh, I want the time for the power shake, time for that nourishment, time for that. So it's said that it's equivalent, like one of these shakes is equivalent to 6 microgreen salads. And nobody's who wants to really be making salad and eating salad all throughout the day? Maybe you want to once or twice, but this is a way to really supplement that and do it in a pure way, because Purium's purity, quality, and standards. But Power Shake is also, the bitters inside of it helps with curbing addiction to sweetness, the sweetness and these kinds of things. So much more to say, but Alison, I'll let you come in and say some of your favorite points on the Power Shake.
Definitely. So what I love about this, for one, is the compostable packaging. This is a huge part of why I'm passionate about the mission. So it begins, of course, with the food, the community, the business model, which has a ton of consciousness around it. But for me, planetary stewardship is huge. So this is made out of hemp and bamboo. You can literally bury it in your backyard. So I love that we're making beautiful products, but we're doing it with integrity too. So this is where the company started 30 years ago with the Power Shake, and from there we've built out with an apothecary of over 100 different products. But what we're focusing on today is, your core nutrition. This is something that snap back to reality. If you get this in top of the day, you have sustainable energy. Once again, what's the reality that we're all going to wash, cut, rinse and everything, make those 6 microgreen nutrient dense salads, but at 7 a.m. when we're trying to get kids out the door, when we're trying to make it to that business meeting, all of these things. So imagine if you had this in your system, you're taken care of. At this point, I am consuming so many superfoods because it's easy, therefore I will do it. So therefore it's an effective system. And I'm eating all the other things in my life for fun, for crunch, for taste, but I'm getting my nutrition, I check that box nice and early. This is also a great way to get this in for if people are elderly and they're having issues with, their food intake. It's an easier way to get, because everything's ground into a powder real quick. These are all whole foods that are vine ripened, picked at peak of ripeness, and then dehydrated very gently via sun and wind. So like nature would have it. So there is no heat added to the process. Therefore, the enzymes are preserved like a raw food diet, but you don't have to do all of that raw food work. My kids drink this in the evening time. So it's a great way to get something sweet, but all of those nourishing greens in for people who maybe their palate isn't quite there yet, just to do all those veggies on their own. And so while I'm making dinner, they're drinking their power shakes so they're not getting hangry. What I've noticed is when we all do superfoods first, everyone is nicer, they're happier, we're more effective. And so it's once again, I am looking to streamline things to make things easy because life itself is already very challenging. And this makes things not only easier, but better.
Yeah, really great points. The two together, the Super Amino 23 and the Power Shake together are a complete meal. So they're literally, those two things together are a complete meal replacement. So, just something to keep in mind, the protein, the veggies. Well, where we're going next is the fruit. Protein, veggies, fruit. And the fruit is something that we call the apothecary. And apothecary is something that you can use it in your shakes throughout the day. You can do it wherever you want, but we really promote it, and many people like to do it right before bed. And so it's a dark cherry extract, and it has a naturally occurring, dark cherry is the only plant on the planet that has naturally occurring melatonin. And so this is going to help you to drop into a deep REM sleep and have the highest level of recovery, anti-inflammatory. It's just a phenomenal product. For so many different ways. Sleep is just getting really good sleep is a way to rebalance, reset, recalibrate, and aliven for the next day. But it's also working at the same time with the products on reducing inflammation in the body. So with that, the apothecary, you can do it. Some people like to put it in a glass and just pour it like wine, or some will mix it with water. You can do it like I do. I just chug it off the bottle and I just do it old school style. So it's just whatever you prefer. You do 2 tablespoons of this in whatever combination, or mix it in a shake, and off you go and you're set. So Alison, anything you want to add in, please do.
Most deaf. So I'm just going to flash you. This is kind of what a box looks like for me, I'm learning a lot about synergy. So all of these products, they could be taken by themselves a la carte, but it's really the synergy between all of the different elements coming together to treat the body as one system. So as for the apothecary, these foods, everything is plant-based, plants and herbs. So all of the foods are very nutrient dense in not only nutrients, but minerals. Everything is about getting the body in an alkaline state. So what do I mean by alkaline? For life, it's movement. Water that moves, that flushes, is clean, it's flowing. When the body is in an acidic state, therefore kind of stagnant, that's when disease can set in, or inflammation, and then our body will flare up with all these symptoms. So what I am doing when I'm eating, everything I'm doing is feeding the tank quality fuel. And so I love the apothecary because it's bringing down inflammation and boosting my body's own production of melatonin, versus lots of people are taking melatonin gummies. So when you put melatonin in, or if you're putting in collagen, my body recognizes it and says, oh, I don't need to make any more. What we're doing with our formulations of plants and herbs is we are boosting our body's own natural production so we can be making all of that good stuff. And my kids love it too. So I'll take like soda water, add a little cherry to it, and they're like, cherry soda, but they're not running around chugging, a bunch of sugar that's going to get them a little bit more wackier. And then it's hard to get them to sleep. Another interesting thing is, as we look at things holistically, is we have to look at the cycles of our own body, our own nervous system, or the nervous system of the family, right? So many people are taking in heavy amounts of caffeine because they're not getting good sleep, or they're not getting good sleep because they're doing all these other things. So we're really just getting a nice natural rhythm for the body. So deep restorative sleep is imperative for regeneration, not only like when we're working out during the day, actually in a gym working out, I'm actually building muscle when I'm sleeping. Life is the workout. When I sleep, I need my brain to have reset time. I got to go completely away from the planet to really let it reset and then come back vibrant. Thanks.
Yeah, wonderful. Good stuff. And of course, like many of Purium's products, there's all kinds of additional things that we're not going to necessarily promote or talk about on this particular Zoom, but I just saw in the chat, like Shelby said that she loves to mix apothecary with pineal clear, which I love that too. I do that and I mix it with our ionic elements, high in magnesium and our electrolytes. So there's all kinds of different boosts and bonuses and extra perks and things that we have that you can learn about as you come through the door and find out what's really right for you. So okay, so we covered the protein, the veggies, the fruit, and now we're going to go into the gut health. And let's talk about gut health, because gut health is really they say it's our second brain, but many believe it's our main brain, right? It's the main driver. So Biomedic is really our superhero, and this is a product created by our owner and master formulator, Dave Sandoval. And Biomedic is a prebiotic and a probiotic that is it's one of the only products at market that is clinically proven to remove glyphosate and other toxins out of the body. And glyphosate is a toxic herbicide that's been tested, and in all the food that's been tested, it's in it. It's in we're getting constant and unavoidable exposure to this herbicide. It's in the food, the water, and the air. And so our answer for this issue is you take it like a multivitamin. You take it daily, and as you are taking it, the idea is that it begins to remove the glyphosate out of the body, and the buildup begins to be reduced. And as you are consistent with it, the idea is as it gets into the body, it's already being removed, so there's no dis-ease in the body building up and occurring. It can cause hormone disruption, Alzheimer's, cancer. There's all kinds of different impacts. You can read about it. It's in Roundup. You can take a look. It's a serious thing going on, but Biomedic also helps to lower CRP, a key inflammation marker, by up to 74%. So that's incredible. So this is also anti-inflammatory, helps to balance the digestive tract, which is key inside of diet and longevity. So Biomedic is just, again, a superhero of product that we have here. Alison, would love to hear any highlights that you have on this incredible product, Biomedic.
Oh, you were insanely descriptive. I love that. So, I mean, I've learned so much from just meeting people within this community. And it's not only like the science of things, but science is nature. And there's a lot of passion here. So there are people who are motivated to not only change themselves, but change the planet for the better. So this is just, it's pivotal because from my knowledge, I don't think anybody else is doing it quite like we are. So we're the only third-party tested, clinically proven glyphosate removal solution. And so it's a little vegan capsule. So for people who are, might be sensitive to taking things, it's a capsule that could be opened and added into a shake or to any other type of food. But the stories that I have heard from people, and I'm sure we'll hear some today, um, it can be pivotal and life-changing to get the gut microbiome. And this kind of stuff was not on my radar 2 years ago for sure. But once you see the bigger picture, you have the ability and the power of choice to then, make adjustments in our own lives to, further the greater good for not only the self, but beyond. So I think knowledge is power. So I'm just really grateful for what I've learned thus far. And yeah, thanks for rounding that out on the biomedic. We got to talk about the parasite cleanse too. That's part of the box.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go there right now. So we've done the protein, veggies, fruit, the gut health, and last but certainly not least is the parasite cleanse, Cleanse R. And Cleanse R is a phenomenal product. And it's really just a gentle parasite cleanse. Many people think of a cleanse, they think of that word and they get concerned, but this is just something that is it's gentle. It helps to remove unwanted organisms that may be contributing to sugar cravings and other kinds, fatigue, brain fog, all kinds of different things that happen. Really something good to be aware of when eating seafood and things with sugars and just acidic foods, and just it's just a good uh, practice to do a few times a year. So this is our answer, and it's something that if you are pregnant, then we have an alternative because there's an ingredient in there called wormwood that you wouldn't want to have. So we use the cracked cell chlorella. So inside of that, that's a nice addition that you only do for 10 days inside of the 30, and we'll break that down right now. So that is really the cleanse-r: protein, veggies, fruit, gut health, and parasite. Alison, I understand that you have some information on some of the costs and would like to share some of that, unless you have anything in addition to on the cleanse-r.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, the parasite cleanse is just kind of another special piece that we introduce once you enter in day 10. So what we are talking about is a 90-day, ideally, protocol to get the body back to balance, homeostasis, to get yourself in an optimal place. And then if it's working for you, please stay at that level forever. Or we have dropped down packages, which would mean less products to maintain the whole overhaul you've done for your beautiful temple, the machine. So everything that we just talked about would be either delivered to your doorstep like this. So we skip the middlemen of, big box stores and everything like that, because we put all of our energy into the integrity of products. And then, or you might meet someone like me and I would be able to hand off a box to you, like my friend Antoine last night. We could connect further and we can deepen our knowledge and our connection with each other, because it's really about carrying the message for me to let people know more about the treasure that I found that's helping us. So if you start with the program, this is the ideal start. Whatever gets your foot in the door is going to make us happy, but we want to know you. We want to help you and go through the process with you. Month one, the price. Oh, I just got to touch on this. You'll get a really cool blender, something like that. So it makes everything is about ease and simplicity, and just we've given you everything. All you have to do, this is why I love it, is follow directions. So that means I can save my brain power for other things. In your box will come a really cool tracker. So you'll have information, you'll have access to the people who led you to these superfoods. There's a basic routine that it's literally just learn the routine, and it becomes like rhythm, like brushing my teeth twice a day, riding a bike. And then it becomes a really healthy way to just check in with self throughout the day, that we're maintaining self-care. Because with health, either we're going to pay for it on the front end or we're going to pay for it on the back end. So for me, this is on the front end. I don't want to wait for things to break. So month one, it starts at $385 for the entire box. That's those 4 elements of proteins, superfoods, gut health, deep restorative sleep, and the parasite cleanse and the blender. So that's at $385. That equals out to just under $13 a day. Months 2 and 3, price drops down to $350 a day, because you don't rebuy the blender or the parasite cleanse. Now, once again, there are so many additional products that if you find that you love this, like I have, add more in and continue to take care of yourself, and explore like the new levels that you will reach by kind of just cleaning everything up. And it's not just the body, it's the emotional, the spiritual, of course the physical. So that's everything on pricing, just to run through that real quick. I think we're good on that. And then we definitely want to get into some shares. There will be time for questions and answers after. But what we'd really love to hear from you guys are some of the stories of people who have been doing this superfood nutrition. There are, there's a nice group of us here. So everybody, if you would just please give us your 30-minute shares share your wins, share what's going on for you in your life, or anything that you would like us to know. And
Alice,
feel free to just pop on. Yeah.
just want to make sure they know that. So it's it drops down to 350. You said 350 a day, but just 350 for the, not $3.50 a day, or not. So I just want to be clear on that. And also, Purium is, you'll see on their packaging that we are the formulator and the distributor. And I think that that's really important when buying products, because oftentimes products will promote, organic or different things, and that can't be guaranteed. And Purium can guarantee that, because Purium is the formulator and the distributor, meaning they're the ones shipping it to you. So there's no middlemen. So I just wanted to point that out, that it is what it says it is, and that there is a 60-day money back guarantee if you're not happy with what it is. However, we'd be out of business if everybody was shipping that back. So that's a rare moment, but would love to hear the testimonials and hear from all of you.
Yeah, thank you, Tevya. No, totally. On the 60-day guarantee, that's really nice for people who are going to try something newer, maybe at a larger level. But we have a 2% return rate. It doesn't happen that often, but that's pretty cool that a company will make products and say, you know what, you can eat all of it. Just save your packaging and you have the option to return if you want to. So thank you for keying in on those numbers, because numbers are important. But once again, think about what you honestly spend $13 a day on, just to self. And then let's jump into some testimonials. That's where it's to get really fun. So feel free to just jump off of mute or raise your hand. Let's hear from the community.
Hey, I'll hop on real quick and share. Hi, everyone. I'm Camille. I live in Chicago too. So when I found this nutrition, I had experienced some trauma related to birth, and it manifested as chronic pain in my body. And I was really in a bad place. I was praying for a solution for like 4 years, and I had been self-medicating with ibuprofen. I was taking about 2,000 milligrams of ibuprofen every day just to get through the day. And I had a 2-year-old son. I'm like started over with a new family later in life. I have older kids and now younger ones. And when I added the nutrition in, within 2 days, I didn't have any pain. I literally forgot to take my ibuprofen. And like what Tevya said, like you may feel something, you may not, it may happen right away, it may happen later. But for me, it was right away. It was literally an answered prayer. And I just have to say that I've tried just so many things over the past few years for chronic pain, and the apothecary is definitely the one. Like I take extra every night just because if if my body's flared up or something like that, it's the one thing that really knocks the pain out. So I just love it. And yeah, thanks for this call today, everybody. It was really inspiring.
Thank you, Camille. That's the lady who I met at a park 2 years ago, and my life has astronomically changed. So you never know who you're talking to and what you're going to build together. Love to hear from you. Good to see you. Who's next?
I'll share for a quick second. Hi, my
Hey,
name's
Farmer
Bree.
Bree.
Oh gosh, hi. My favorite thing, I'm 2 years into this journey, and my favorite thing is that I'm still not bored. So when you start this journey, everyone has a unique experience. But I feel really good with where my gut health is at thanks to the superfoods. But now I'm to a point where I want to start to focus more on getting back in shape postpartum. I was an athlete my whole life. And so I have a couple new products that I'm getting ready to add in for my next 90-day that I've never tried. So I'm going to do super lice and white American ginseng. And that's what's cool about this. Like you don't get bored. There are always more superfoods to add in, and your journey will continue to evolve. So just love to share that it's not boring, and gosh, you never stop craving Power Shake.
Thanks, Bree. Great to hear from you. So this is like a soil health genius enthusiast. So you will never, be short of, I said enthusiast. That's an interesting word. But you will never be short of like amazing people to learn along with. We host this call every week, but if you really, start to form very powerful relationships with people in this life, you will learn things that will change you for the better, I believe. So thank you for sharing, Bree. This also helped me return to being an athlete again too, you know, after having kids. I'm really passionate about sharing this with parents in general, but specifically moms, because often you're spending a lot of time, if you're a caretaker, right? Kelly, you're up next. You know, if you are being able to feed into others, we have to fill our cup first. So I'll segue into you, Kelly.
Well, and isn't that a beautiful segue, Allison? Hey guys, so nice to be here. My name's Kelly. I live in Ontario, Canada. And what a great, this call was great. I love this tag team approach with Alison and Tevya. That was so great. It's so fun to see that connected energy as you guys were sharing. So this is my 1 month anniversary or 1 year anniversary this month. So I have been just popping wild everywhere on socials and just celebrating 1 year having been introduced to these amazing superfoods that were the true, I like to call it the transitional gateway into whole life transformation for me. And, you know, before Purium superfoods came into my life, I was full of inflammation and had a lot of discomfort and had decades long stuff going on with joints. Not going to name any names, but you know, I had a huge restricted movement. I used to be, speaking of athletics, I used to run half marathons. I ran my first one when I was 40. I'm going to be 65 in December of this year. And honestly, I've gone from limping and very restricted movement, not being able to walk easily on my favorite happy place in the world, which is the beach. And we happen to live near one that's almost like a Mexican beach. And I now can just very speedily, handily walk through sand. I speed walk an hour or more every day. I have no inflammation in those joints that used to be so restricted. And that's a big one for me. And, you know, it just keeps getting, I almost feel like it's 1 year and I almost feel like I'm just getting started. And I did, you know, my body came into balance and regenerated, and at that point safely felt that it could release effortlessly excess weight that I've been carrying for decades. And I mean, it's a year later and I'm lower than I was after the 90 days. And I'm like you guys, I crave Power Shake. It's crazy. So yeah, there's a whole lot more I could say, but I wanted to express my gratitude in little bits of my journey. This community is just extraordinary, and that's a beautiful, beautiful piece of what we do around here, is the beautiful connections that we have. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Kelly, she brought it to the whole life transformation. She's not messing around. It's the big picture.
I love your sign above your sink, Alexa, do the dishes. That was awesome.
Yeah. You know what? And I forgot something really important, because Allison, you did a segue with regard to caregiver. So we don't use that term around here. In fact, my hubby Gil, like, we're very open about a diagnosis he received 6 years ago, which we've taken a total holistic approach to. But you know, there's been things over time that created more challenges. One of my biggest passions and whys about transforming my own health with these superfoods and in all other regenerative health practices is so that I can show up and be strong for not just me, but my whole family, and especially my hubby. So thanks for that mention, Allison.
100%.
Really appreciate your voice and your share and your testimonial. It matters and makes a difference. So thank you for your presence.
Okay, Katrin, go for it.
Hello, everyone. I have been enjoying the Purium lifestyle for about 7 months, and I came to the way of being in this protocol because I was experiencing food sensitivities and some issues related, and I had inflammation that was kind of blew up my face, and I had some intermittent burning in my right thigh at night, and my digestion was all out of whack. And then I ultimately wound up in the emergency room with heart palpitations. And I kind of figured out what I thought was at the root of I just knew it was food related, and I because there were no other symptoms that were I was tested at the hospital, and they didn't find anything else. So when my friend introduced me to the Purium products, I was like, this is manna from heaven. This is exactly what I've been seeking to bring my body back into balance. And since I've been on the protocol, all of those symptoms have gone away entirely. And then that was sort of like my main interest for coming to the products, and then and this lifestyle, and then, you know, the energy, the focus, the weight loss. I mean, so many of the things that other people have mentioned, that and even things that just like in my meditations, and you know, I'm like reaching different spaces and dimensions, and my creativity has really blossomed. And you know, other things that I was sort of like, wow, okay, so everything is really interconnected. And you know, as I get my body in alignment, then that gets you know, filters into all these other aspects of my life. And then of course the community that I'm, you know, enjoying in our masterminds, and just the self-development that I'm experiencing. It's all just been really amazing, and I'm so eternally grateful.
Beautiful, Katrin. Yes, you've really like gone so expansive with it, because there's no ceiling on where this can take us. So thank you for speaking to all that. I love how you spoke about your creativity opening up, right? And I've heard some people talk about like their emotional world, and like, and even like in your partnerships, if you're sharing this with the people in your life, you know, the idea is, you know, go far, come up together, you know? So thank you so much. That was beautiful. My friend Shelby, Light Warrior.
Hello, friends. Gosh, these shares are so beautiful. And love seeing you guys today. My name is Shelby, and I have been on my Purium superfood and lifestyle for just over a year. And when I got started on my journey, I actually didn't know I needed this support, because I'm somebody who thought I was doing all the things. I ate organic, I was always staying hydrated, I was active, and it wasn't until my son's first teeth erupted with tooth decay that I was like, stepped into this phase of, okay, I'm not going to go the dentist route. I don't want to do the drill and fill. I want to take a holistic approach and figure out what the root cause of this tooth decay is. And that's where my journey with nutrition started. And so we had started incorporating, you know, ancestral foods. And long story short, we successfully remineralized his teeth. But in that process, I had also been breastfeeding him for 4 years. And when I met Bree, who also shared on here, she was, you know, a fellow mama, and we were talking, and she was like, you know, all these things you're sharing with me, I can't help but mention or just observe that you may be experiencing some postpartum depletion. And I was like, what? I had never had another woman take the time to sit with me and tell me something like that. And it really turned the mirror on me. As a massage therapist, I'm always coaching my clients on how our health has no cap. The body is always wanting to reach new heights in wellness. And yet, I had reached a point in my own personal development where I just hadn't experienced much momentum in a while. So, fast forward to today, what I was struggling with that I didn't know I was struggling with was brain fog and memory and focus, and also like Katrin, heart palpitations my whole life. Um, and I just kind of accepted that like maybe I wasn't the most energetic person, and that was just my personality. But 1 week into the program, I had a clean and feeling of lightness in my being that I had never experienced before. No more heavy fluctuations in my energy. I had more clarity and focus. My skin health is still improving. I haven't had a breakout in like 6 months. And again, no more heart palpitations. And that was something that was starting to get a little concerning for me. And that went away almost immediately. Also, no more inflammation in my sacrum after giving birth to my son, better digestion, all of my elimination pathways are clear and open and thriving. And perhaps the biggest change is the way I feel about myself. I'm more connected to my body and I feel more in control of my health. And I guess a big takeaway too that I would add is that we do not truly know how healthy we are or unhealthy we are until we take a step back and just reset our factory settings. You know, you can be the healthiest person in the world. There's still always room for growth. And so this program was a wake-up call for me and my own body's potential, which has inspired me to take action and showing other people theirs. And so, yeah, this experience is really just about going deeper and nourishing smarter. And, you know, good health truly begins with a willingness to understand how the body works and then committing to seeing yourself thrive. And the best thing about all of this is that we get to do it as a family, as a community, and we have so much support, people holding our hands every step of the way, and the health benefits just never end. So that's my share. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Shelby. That was lovely. I see, I can listen to this woman talk all day. She's great. I learned so much, right? And I think often people will reflect to us things that we wouldn't see if we were just doing things on our own, right? So that's how we learn together as a community and bring each other through the process. Thank you, Shelby. Solveig.
Hey, that was a great share, Shelby, and I need to talk to you about the remineralizing teeth thing. So I found you on Facebook, so that'd be great if we could talk. And my story is, so I had known about Purium already for a while, and I had a really healthy pregnancy. I feel like you know, Purium gave me my incredible fertility. Um, that so that's why I have my daughter, and it was a great pregnancy, and then afterwards I had a 2 year, like I didn't take Purium for 2 years. Like I feel like I was at a low vibration, just like in it was just it was a dark time for me, and I was like worried about money, and like I didn't prioritize my health. And I went to all these doctors because I had suddenly had this weird nose like blockage, and I was getting sinus infections, and my digestion was all messed up, and I kept like I went to the ENT, I went to get testing at the doctor, and I even went to acupuncture. I was studying, trying to get answers from Chinese medicine, and I was getting fragments and I couldn't put all the pieces together, and I was like, how come the ENT can't tell me anything about what I should eat? Like how come the doctor can't tell me what I should eat? Like how come no one can tell me like what's like you just want to open up my nose with surgery? Like it was so frustrating that no one could tell me why. And then I just remembered that I could do period, like try the transformation. And so I did. And then day 40, I was checking in with my naturopath and I was like, hey, I can breathe through my nose. And my digestion is better than it's ever been. And I just like forgot that I had any of these problems. And so that day I was just like so high on that excitement that I was like, I have to share this. And that was it. I was like, I'm doing this. So yeah, it was an incredible experience just having all of those problems streamlined and having the answer finally.
Thank you, Sylvie. That was beautiful. You're getting some hearts from Shelby. And that's what's also great too. There's so many people here to ask questions with and share the journey with. And we will be surprised at how we can help ourselves. You said the words, I prioritize my health, right? If we don't, the health that we have for ourselves and of our family and our community, that is our true wealth. If we have our health, then we can go do the other things. Sometimes, you know, in the world, it could feel a little backwards. We're putting other things in front of that. So I love that you brought that focal point forward for us. Thanks for sharing.
Yes, Solveig, appreciate your sharing your testimony. It's amazing. It's not rocket science. The body knows what to do with pure nutrition. And your testimony just shares that's the perfect example. So thank you so much for that.
All right. Thank you for the stories and the shares. We appreciate you opening your hearts up to us and giving us your experience. Is there anything else we want to touch on before we stop the recording?
Yeah, well, I just think that it's important that, you know, if this is speaking to you or you have further questions or curiosities, you want to get back to the person that invited you to this Zoom, and talk with them about how would be the best way for you to plug in and get activated. So my call to action for all of us is go plug in with the person who inspired you to come here. And if you're already part of it, then who are you going to bring to the next one? So Alison, anything on your end?
Yeah, plug-in is fantastic wording. So however you want to plug in on whatever level, we can start with products. We can plug in with the products and the business from the beginning. It's got a great kickback program. If we find 3 friends to join us in this nutrition, that could actually cover the costs of us taking care of ourselves and sharing the message with others. So there's a lot of information and education available to us. So knowledge is power. So please just keep talking with us, keep growing with us. Thank you so much for your time today. We'll stop the recording and we'll do some questions and answers if there's anything left.